Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Kantner and you're watching a special CMSD TV program, Talk to the CEO, featuring District CEO Eric Gordon. We're here in the studio with him for a Q&A discussing district news and updates. Today's topics include Say Yes to Education, summer meals, and already the start of school in the fall. Thanks so much for being here with us today.
Absolutely.
Always one of our favorite programs on CMSD TV. So let's jump right into it if you don't mind.
Sure.
CMSD and Partners recently announced, had a big announcement actually, that Cleveland is working to become a chapter of Say Yes to Education. And you've said publicly that joining Say Yes would be a game changer for the community. So first, just start by telling us what is Say Yes and why is this work so important for the district?
So Say Yes to Education is essentially the wraparound strategy on steroids. It's taking it 100% scale to every single school. It's bringing services from our community into schools for kids and families so that they have the supports they need to essentially clear the decks of the things that get in the way of learning. So it's a really exceptional opportunity. We have been announced as a pre-launch city, which means that we are doing the work of raising the scholarship dollars and building the infrastructure so that hopefully this time next year we are actually a Say Yes city.
Wow, well I hope we can be having that discussion next year about already being one. So
very exciting.
Yeah, so how could this change the city? What do you envision?
Well, so Say Yes is a generational strategy, and so it's thinking about a student that arrives in preschool and where they're going to be when they graduate high school, complete college, and earn a job in our community. And so it's intended over time to disrupt poverty, to actually change the poverty factor in our city. Now that won't happen in a year, but over the course of a generation, a decade of our children, we could potentially return a number of our kids college educated back into our community and investing in the community and really lifting our city out of deep poverty for children.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
The partners working to make Say Yes a reality say that it includes aligning community services to make sure students stay on track to graduation. Doesn't the county already provide those kinds of services, and don't CMSD schools already have coordinators bring in what we call wraparound services, as you mentioned before?
So we do have 25 schools that have coordinators to bring wraparound services to the schools, but we have to go get them and bring them there. What Say Yes does is get partners like our county, who has been a great partner with us, and like our city, who also a tremendous partner, to actually put the services in the schools rather than the families having to go find the services. So for example, if you think of a family that needs mental health services, they are available through the county, so you get on your bus and you go to the service. Why not have them available at school so that you don't have to go seek the service is available to you? And we're doing a number of these things. So we have physical health services in about 20 of our buildings, but we don't have it then in 80 of our buildings. And so instead of using the ER when you have a severe asthma attack, as many of our students struggle with, why not have preventative asthma care, which is actually cheaper in the healthcare system, and it's better for my kids and families that it happens right at school. We piloted 2 legal clinics with the Cleveland Bar Association. So if a family gets an eviction notice, if you or I got an eviction notice, we would seek help. We would find somebody to say, what do we do about this? There are rights when you're served with this notice. Our families don't have access to those supports, but now they can come to school and say, I got this notice, I don't know what it means, what do I do? So that's just some examples of what Say Yes does to clear the disruptors. If you're being evicted, education is not the first thing on your mind. Getting to the same school tomorrow is not likely if you're moving, right? And so how do we stabilize the experiences of our kids and their families so that they can be successful in school?
Wow, no wonder you call it a game changer.
It's big, and
yeah,
I'm really excited about it.
So we already touched on this a little bit, but where are we in the approval process, and when will we know whether the bid is successful? I can't wait now. It's very exciting.
So the Say Yes national organization has identified us as what they call a pre-launch city. That means they're investing $15 million here in Cleveland to help us build the infrastructure, to help us raise scholarship monies, to help us create data sharing agreements, to help us find those services and an asset mapping strategy. This takes about 12 to 18 months. Anyone who knows me knows that I set out for 12, so that at this point next year, I hope that we're announcing that we're not a pre-launch city, but that we are a Say Yes city.
And is there anything else that remains to be done at this point? Is it in this
there's a
12 month
there's
process?
a great deal to be done. You have to identify those assets. You have to broker memorandums of understanding between county, city, district. You look at how funds are being spent today and how they can be realigned around these services. You look at philanthropy and how they're using their funds. There's a great deal of work that has to be done, but we're up to the task and we're going to have it done.
Absolutely. All right, we will move on to our next topic. The district has designated a number of schools as summer feeding sites. The school, that means children and their families have access to meals when school is not in session this summer, and the district plans to continue providing dinner at some sites after next school year begins. Why is the district taking on this responsibility? Why is this important?
Well, this goes right back to why we need Say Yes to Education. We are the second highest childhood poverty city in the country, second only to Detroit. Many of our kids and families live below a very low bar poverty line, and so often the meals, the nutritious meals that our kids get, come from school. So when school closes at the end of the day or at the end of the year or for a holiday, often our families are relying on food banks, churches, and other organizations to scrap together a meal. And that's just not acceptable. And so we've partnered with the Cleveland Food Bank to open 17 sites this summer to provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Cleveland School of the Arts will be a breakfast site. We will have dinner at Charles Dickens, Clark, and Marion Sterling. So we have East End, West Side, and Central City. And then we have 13 summer school sites that will be providing free lunch for kids and meals at a low cost for families. We are hoping that this ensures that our kids have nutritious meals throughout the summer, and it's a really wonderful partnership with the Cleveland Food Bank. And they all start approximately May 30th and run through the end of July and into early August.
Excellent. And we'll absolutely have more information on the CMSD website as well.
That's right.
Families can visit. It's something they should definitely take advantage of. It's a
Absolutely.
great opportunity for the families. You've spoken recently about the summer loss that students experience during their break from school. Can you explain what that means, and how is the district helping? And what can parents do to ensure their children remain active learners during the summer? I hate to already bring this up because it's just the end of the school year, but it's important.
Well, so we know that kids who are not academically engaged throughout the summer actually can lose as much as half of the growth that they experienced in the prior school year. You can lose a half a school year in a summer. And so we really need our students and our parents to be actively engaged in academic kinds of activities. And that does not mean school, but it does mean going to the library, reading books. It means going to the Science Center or the Rock Hall or going to the Natural History Museum or Parks and Recreation, or anything that creates that stimulation that helps your brain stay active, that gives you access to reading, that gives you access to experiences you may not have had. And there's so much available in our community, but we really need our families to seek out and take advantage of those. And one great example is the Great Lakes Science Center has partners with us for a 7th grade experience all year long. They're issuing family passes for every 7th grade student and their families this summer to keep our families actively engaged in the Science Center. And so we really need our families to ensure that their kids are engaged in these things that continue to stimulate the learning that they've already had, so that it creates stickiness in the brain and stays with them, rather than us having to start over by capturing the last half of last year before we even begin the first half of this year.
And of course, some schools are actually on a year-round schedule. How are we seeing that that's helping students?
So any parent knows that after about the third week of school, third week of summer break, they're ready to send their kid back to school. The research says that that is not just intuition, that after three weeks we do actually start losing some of what we've lost. And so our year-round school program only has 3-week breaks. The kids go 10 weeks and then they have a 3-week break, 10 weeks and then a 3-week break. And it is designed that way because of what we know. And so we know our kids are retaining much more. And if I had my way, I would move the entire district there. It's just an expense we don't have the resource for at this time. Mm-hmm. But I don't have to have that if our families take advantage of the many, many community resources available at Tri-C, at CSU, at our cultural institutions, in our parks and recreation, in our nonprofit centers. There's so much opportunity. We need to ensure that every kid gets engaged in those summer activities.
Definitely, yeah. Get out there, have some fun, educational fun.
That's right.
It's out there.
That's right.
So though most schools are going on summer break now, the school year will be here before we know it. I feel, like I said, I feel sort of bad to bring that up already while we're in this, summer high. But what do parents need to do to prepare?
Well, yes, we are in back-to-school mode. We've been working on back-to-school opening since April. So I think families kind of think the school district goes on vacation in the summer. We actually don't. Families need to ensure that they're enrolled in the school of their choice. So we want every family to actively choose the school that they want their child to attend. Particularly, we need preschoolers, kindergartners, and 8th graders to be making choices. So we need preschool and kindergarten families enrolled, and we need 8th graders to choose their high school choice. Families can do that at our district enrollment center at 1111 Superior Avenue, but we also have school sites that are open for summer enrollment. That includes Jane Addams, I'm going to miss one, Orchard, Patrick Henry, and R.G. Jones. And so families can go to any one of those 4 sites, or again downtown at 1111 Superior Avenue. And those sites are open from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. Our students with disabilities need to come to the downtown center for support, and families who are bilingual or need language services should use Thomas Jefferson Newcomer Center. And again, we want to make sure every preschooler, every kindergartner, and every 8th grader has actively made a choice so that they're ready for school in the fall.
Excellent. And along with that, it's probably very important for parents to make sure their information is all up to date so they can get announcements or items in the mail or whatever it may be for their address, phone number.
Yeah, it's really important that we know where our families are so that we can communicate with them. Particularly important in the mobile world that we have cell phone numbers so that we can share text alerts, so that we can reach families where they are, and that we have accurate addresses for back-to-school mailers. And so I would encourage every family to verify their information with our enrollment center. They can actually call the district office, and that number is 838-3675.
Excellent, thank you. Well, any last message that you want to get out there to the community as we enter our summer?
Well, I just want our kids and families to really enjoy a great summer. It's been a tremendous school year. We're so grateful that families have chosen CMSD. We want everyone to rest up, be relaxed, have some fun, stay engaged, and be back with us first day of school.
Excellent. Well, counting down the days.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here and joining us today. We really appreciate it. If you have a question for the CEO, you can go online and fill out a simple form at clevelandmetroschools.org/CEO questions. You can remain anonymous if you like, and you might just see it answered here on the next episode. In the meantime, follow Eric Gordon, CEO. That's his handle on Twitter. He'll be, I'm sure, very busy throughout the summer, like he said. And for more CMSD TV programming, you can visit clevelandmetroschools.org/news. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.